Today, I wanted to talk about success. What success means to you, how we achieve success, all of the little successes and the big successes, all of it. So let's just jump right into it. Every time I would have a big success, I would have a period of grief. Like this school is ending, this career is ending, this role in my life is ending, and this is, I think, very normal because we could also see success as a transition period. The big successes in life, like being successful in having a child or being successful in your career, things like this. They're, in my perspective, big transitions. But there's also small successes. If you're having a hard time getting out of bed, maybe it's a massive success for you to just get your feet on the ground and get going for the day. So let's talk about your reaction to success. Maybe think of the last time you had a big success, like you graduated school or you got a new, better job, you got a promotion, you had a child, you got a house. Once you have that success in your mind, think of how it made you feel. Feel it. Breathe into it. Now, let's think of like a medium success. Maybe you got a project done at work or around the house. A success that you worked hard for, but it was kind of like a short term, you know? And let's try to bring that same major success feeling to this. Breathe into it. Now, let's bring a small success into your mind's eye. Maybe it was you got the dishes done, or you took the dog for a walk. Let's try to bring the same major successful gratitude, acceptance feeling into our heart center. Breathe into it. The way that you moved through your feelings about success is how you intuitively react to your success in the world. If you felt a tingly, like excited, successful, excited, like fulfilling feeling, in your heart center, then this is generally how you are going to react to the successes. Now, it makes me wonder, how do you react to the failures or to the lessons? Is it the complete opposite of this gratitude and fulfillment? Is it an emptiness? Or do you feel as if failures help you learn so that successes are even more fulfilling? We can train our brains to even hold your failures as successes. And we can train our brain to have all of these small little achievements that we make throughout the day into small successes that create an even bigger success in the end. So, let's think of a major failure that you've had. Bring this to the forethought of your brain. You know what I mean. What is something that you learned from this failure? Something that has helped you move through your life. I'll share a failure that I've had. I closed my yoga studio last year, and it did feel like a failure at that time. But I had programmed myself to think of it, my whole yoga studio, as my master's degree. And of course, with your master's degree, it ends eventually and you come away with so many lessons, right? So I learned how to schedule people. I learned how to have clear and concise boundaries around my work relationships. I learned how to film and edit films and post on social media. I learned how to be on social media in a professional sense. All of these things are invaluable traits to be an entrepreneur. Skills and traits. So if you can think of just 2 or 3 lessons that you learned from this major failure, it starts to feel less like a failure and more like an education, more like an achievement that you've learned. Even the small failures in life, the ones that, like, you didn't do the dishes last night, you didn't say I love you to your spouse this morning. All of these little failures can add up to a pretty interesting lesson. A lesson of how your energy flows, a lesson of who you are in your body, where your boundaries are. Listening to your body, listening to the boundaries of your energy, of your psyche, is key in having a successful life, right? So whenever you find yourself super tired that day and you just can't get anything done, you just can't seem to scrounge up the energy to get your work done. Maybe that is a day of rest. And maybe working on being okay with rest is what needs to happen that day. I had that day yesterday where I really needed to do so many things, and it just felt like a build-up that I didn't do any of them. Because in the middle of the day, whenever I realized I am just too tired, I decided, you know what? It is an energetic, sick day where I just sat back, took a rest, and was okay with scrolling, was okay with taking the dog on a walk, and that is it. That is it. Sometimes you just need to be okay with that. And also, whenever you find yourself consistently out of energy, always bumping into that boundary of life is just too much, you might want to evaluate your day to day. You might want to see if you happen to be burnt out. Because whenever you are burnt out, it's hard to even get up out of bed, right? It's hard to take a shower and get to work. And work, if you let it, can absolutely burn you out. And it's hard. It's hard to recognize your boundaries. It's hard to stand up for your boundaries, for yourself. But even that is a success. So a lot of people think of success as something monetary, something lucrative or financial, that you are succeeding in your financial gain, right? Well, if we can shift that mindset, because it feels like that's what the patriarchy wants you to feel. Like the only way that you're successful is if you make a certain amount of money, if you have a certain amount of things, if you have competed and you won. If we shift out of the patriarchy into a monarchy type view of the world, you might find that taking care of others, nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself. I should have put yourself first, right? Taking care of yourself, taking care of others, and taking care of the home and house, having a home and house to take care of. These are major successes in a monarchy. My doggie's here. Trinity. Anyway, so being able to take care of the people and places around you, the things that you have put into your life, having these small projects, having these things that nurture your soul, passion projects. Another big lesson that I learned from my old business is that sometimes your passion doesn't have to be your moneymaker, right? It can be just a passion. It can be something that you visit, a hobby even. I was talking to my friend the other day. He's a marine biologist, and he has had a really hard time finding marine biology jobs here in the state of Florida. And he's come to the conclusion that it is okay to volunteer at marine biology organizations and offer his services because it is a passion for him, while he does make money as a real estate agent. So your career could be just the tool to help move you into your passion, to help finance your passion projects. And this is what I'm finding as well. I'm hoping that this passion project will take off. And I feel like this is what everybody hopes, is like their passion project will take off and will be able to fund a lifestyle that feels successful, that's worth living. So that's another thing, is what is a successful lifestyle? I'm pausing to let you answer in your mind before I move into my opinion, because it is only an opinion. In my perspective, in my opinion, a successful lifestyle is one where you can have the fulfillment of providing for your community, of feeling passionate, have a drive in your life. And then be able to have the stillness to let appreciation, to let fulfillment kind of build inside of you consistently, like every day with your meditation. In my perspective, success is not about finances. Finances are just a tool to provide the fulfillment of your success. Sometimes, whenever you succeed, it almost feels like a failure. It almost feels as if you only got there because of a cheat code, because of somebody else's work, because of something that you did not do. You did not succeed, although you were getting the recognition. And in these instances, it's another lesson, of course. You learn your morals and your own ethics of what you can consciously feel is a success. Whenever I worked at Papa John's, I became lead, but you had to take a test, and I'm really bad at tests. Like, I get test anxiety. I fail. This is why I took the alternate route from going to college. I was like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Anyway, different story. So I had to take this test, and they gave you like a review of what the test is, a paper. And I did all the answers. I looked up all the answers, and I put it in my folder. And then I went to go take the test, which is an open book test, but you're not supposed to have the review with you. And I took the test with the review sheet, and then I put my folder away. And my boss went to check the tests and saw that I had the cheat sheet, and it just felt like such a massive failure. Such a massive failure. And not the fact that I got caught, but the fact that I did not just trust myself enough to take this test. It was actually a very easy test. I don't know why I thought that I had to have a cheat sheet to get through it. I did not. I did not need a cheat sheet. I could have done it by myself, but I didn't trust myself. And that's where the lesson comes in, to, in my perspective, to trust myself and the path that I'm on. This is kind of a big factor for me, the path that I'm on. It kind of is falling into faith, falling into trusting that the powers that be, whatever you believe, whatever is your spiritual beliefs, are guiding you in a positive, loving, kind way. And the adventures that you take, the successes that you find, are all put on your path to let you grow and become more amazing with every step, right? I feel as if the only thing that you can take beyond this life is relationships and your lessons. You can't take your body and you can't take your things. So as long as we can continue to have amazing experiences that are even small ones. Like I took the dog for a walk, and I feel really great about that because while I was taking the dog for a walk, I was thinking about successes and failures. I also had an instant the other day where I was using a pendulum, and the pendulum is really your muscle memory. You're asking your subconscious questions. And for some reason the question popped up, am I successful? And it no. So subconsciously, I feel as if I am not successful. There are a couple things that I can do about this to kind of change my perspective about success and to start seeing little things in my life as successful. Or even big things like this video right here. I am making a podcast, and that is a success in and of itself, right? So tools that I am going to utilize to change my perspective about success. First, I always do hypnosis. And I look on YouTube to find a successful hypnosis, In my experience, a hypnosis is where they do a talk down or a countdown, where you're stepping down or you are going through like circles and 3, 2, 1. And then it's talking to your subconscious. So you don't have to be conscious during that time. You can actually take like a small nap or be in that theta state. And I love this because whenever I get up from a hypnosis, I feel like, wow, that was refreshing. I feel great. I didn't have to do much other than just like relax. So hypnosis will be my number one thing. Mantras in the morning, mantras at night. Mantras of I am successful, I am amazing, I am taking the right steps to be successful, my life is a success. All of these mantras will be like consistent in my language, in my daily routines. Upholding daily routines is another one. Whenever you have like a morning routine, which I do, doing that morning routine feels like a small success. So you're already starting the day off with a step in the right direction. You're already feeling like, wow, I am successful. You can insert mantras into that routine. You can insert a daily hypnosis for your night routine. You can insert a physical practice or whatever you would like to do to make you feel like a success. My morning routine is really have coffee and do a tarot card reading. This helps me connect with spirit. Have like a 5-minute little breathing meditation contemplating or after my tarot card reading, kind of feeling into my body, feeling the energy. Now, I will be implementing some mantras in my morning routine. And I'm really enjoying taking my dog for a walk as a morning routine too. This warms up my body. This helps me organize my thoughts for the day. So that's another thing, is going for walks with no music, with no podcasts, with just your thoughts and you. Falling in love with your thoughts, falling in love with you. Giving yourself time to breathe, time to contemplate. I am giving myself space to contemplate. That's what I was just doing. Anyway, so being able to listen to music that is almost like mantra music, that tells you how successful you are, that gets you into a groove. Dancing to music and listening to words in a musical sense, it just like instills the success into you, right? These are all the things that I am going to try to do. Also, to-do lists. To-do lists. So I want to insert to-do lists in my nightly routine so that I am prepared for the next day. I don't have to think about it. I just, I need to make this, and that. I need to do this, that, and the other. The day is already planned. So whenever I wake up, I am free to do my morning routine. And then I look at my to-do list and I'm like, let's get started, right? Checking off check boxes gives you like that little success, that little euphoria in your chest that I'm actually getting things done. On the flip side, if you find that you didn't do any of that, you didn't do your morning routine, you didn't check off any boxes, you didn't do nothing, it's okay to take a sick day. Even if it's an energetically sick day, it's okay. Your body is telling you something, that you need to rest that day. Now, if this goes beyond 2 or 3 days, that is when you reach out for help. That is when you get help from your community, get help from your resources. But you were successful in listening to this podcast. You were successful in getting the things done that you needed to do today, and you are a success. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Continue being successful, even if it looks like you're doing nothing. You are taking steps in the right direction. Once again, my name is Eden. I so appreciate your presence, and I look forward to continuing to making these podcasts